This is not...
It's not something going straight down. It's something moving.
Exactly. And it's not a model of a foot. It's a cast of the footprint.
Yeah.
And the footprint is a dynamic record of the entire step.
Many people who have seen the famous Bigfoot footage from 1967 have debated whether the footage was real or fake. Now, Grok AI has examined it again using powerful tools that go beyond what humans can do. It carefully looked at every movement, every detail, and every frame. The results do not give a clear answer, but they point to something deeper hidden within the film. So, what exactly has been revealed? And why is this old film suddenly becoming the center of such intense debate? Bigfoot Encounter, 1967. In October 1967, Roger Patterson set out on a journey that would later become famous. He traveled to Bluff Creek, a quiet and remote area in Northern California, where many people had already connected with strange sightings and large footprints. Several people had shared stories about seeing something unusual there. Patterson believed these stories might be true, and he wanted to see it for himself. He did not go alone. Bob Gimlin, a skilled outdoorsman who knew the area well, joined him. Even though Gimlin was not fully convinced about the creature Patterson believed in, he agreed to help. They packed food, camping gear, and Patterson's camera, loaded everything onto their horses, and rode deep into the forest. For days, they searched the area carefully, looking for any sign of the mysterious creature. During this time, they found footprints that Patterson believed were fresh. This discovery gave him hope, but they still did not see anything unusual, and the forest remained quiet. Then came October 20th, 1967, a day that changed everything. Patterson and Gimlin were riding along a creek on horseback. The weather was calm, with clear skies and a light breeze. As they turned along the trail, they suddenly saw something that shocked them. Not far away, near some fallen logs, stood a large figure. It was covered in hair and walked on two legs. It looked somewhat like a human, but clearly was not one. The creature was tall and strongly built. Later, people would say it was close to 7 feet tall and quite heavy. Its body was fully covered in dark brown or reddish fur. It was not standing still, but moving slowly with steady steps. When it appeared, the horses reacted immediately. Patterson's horse became frightened and reared up, throwing him to the ground. Even though he fell hard, Patterson quickly stood up again. Despite the surprise, he stayed focused. He had been waiting for a moment like this. He quickly grabbed his camera, turned it on, and started filming. He moved closer to get a better view. Gimlin stayed on his horse, watching closely. He was surprised, but remained calm and ready in case anything happened. The creature did not act aggressively. It did not move toward them or show any sign of danger. Instead, it simply continued walking. Patterson filmed for almost a minute as the figure walked away with smooth and steady steps. Its movement looked natural and controlled. At one point, the creature turned its head and looked back over its shoulder, then kept walking forward. It did not run or panic. It walked calmly until it reached the edge of the forest, where it slowly disappeared into the thick trees. When the film ended, Patterson stopped recording. Even though the moment was over, what he had captured would soon become very important. The short video would later be studied and debated for many years. After the creature left, Patterson and Gimlin went to the spot where it had walked. They saw clear footprints in the wet ground near the creek. The prints were large and deep, showing that whatever made them was heavy. Each footprint was longer and wider than a normal human foot. They made casts of the footprints using plaster to keep them as evidence. Later, different people studied these casts. Some noticed that the shape of the foot was not like a human foot. It looked more flexible, with a middle part that bent differently. The toes seemed more spread out, and the depth of the prints suggested a different way of walking. These details made the mystery even deeper. But when the film was later shown to the public, It caused strong debate and controversy. So, what did people think about it? Are they all on the same page? Let's take a closer look. Patty film reaction. After the film was finished and shown to the public, people reacted immediately and very strongly. Many felt surprised, confused, and curious at the same time. The strange creature seen in the footage was soon given the nickname Patty. From the first viewing, many believed Patty was unlike any creature ever recorded before. The film showed a large figure moving in a smooth and natural way. Its steps were steady, and its arms swung gently as it walked. The way its shoulders and hips moved together made it look balanced and stable. Its hair looked soft and flexible, not stiff or fake, and it moved naturally along with the body. What stood out the most was its size and shape. It looked very big and strong, with a muscular build. It seemed to have features of both a human and an ape, giving it a unique and fascinating appearance. This caught the attention of people who studied its unusual form closely. One part of the film became especially famous. Known as Frame 352, it shows the creature turning its head backward. This quick motion revealed details that were not clearly seen in other parts of the footage. The partly visible face and clear body shape made the figure seem more real. Its relaxed posture also made it look natural, without any stiffness or signs of being fake. For those who believed the film was real, this moment was very important. They saw it as strong proof that the creature truly existed. On the other hand, skeptics believed it was the most convincing trick they had ever seen. Both sides studied this single moment again and again, each trying to prove their point. The film quickly became popular and started many discussions. It was shown on television and talked about in newspapers, leading people to choose what they believed. Some thought it showed something real and unknown, while others believed it was just a well-made act. Supporters of the film pointed out how real the creature looked. They said its movements were very smooth and did not seem human. They also admired how natural the hair and body appeared. Experts in costume design were confused by how realistic it looked. They questioned how such a suit could have been made with the limited tools and materials available at that time. They also noticed how the muscles seemed to move under the skin, making it look like a real living body instead of a costume. These details made it hard for them to believe it was fake. Skeptics, however, had their own strong opinions. They believed it was simply a person wearing a costume. They questioned Patterson's intentions, suggesting he might have wanted fame or recognition. They also found it suspicious that he had a camera ready at just the right moment. Some believed that skilled people in the past could create very realistic costumes, even with limited resources. They argued that with enough effort, someone could make a suit that looked real enough to fool others. To them, the film was clever, but not true. The debate continued for many years, especially from the 1970s to the 1980s. Different experts studied the film in various ways. Some became more convinced it was real, while others stayed sure it was fake. Neither side could fully prove their claim. Researchers also tried to explain what the creature could be. Some suggested it might be a bear walking on two legs. However, bears do not move as smoothly as the creature in the film. Their bodies are different, and they do not walk steadily for long distances on two legs. Others thought it might be an unknown type of primate. But there are no records of apes living in North America. The history of animals in that region does not include any large primates like this. If such a creature existed, it would suggest something very unusual happened long ago. Another idea was that it could be a prehistoric ape that somehow survived into modern times. People often mentioned a large ape that once lived in Asia. While this animal is known from fossils, there is no evidence that it ever lived in North America. It also likely walked on all fours, unlike the creature in the film. Every explanation had problems. None could fully explain what was seen in the footage. Could the Patterson film really show a real unknown creature, or was it just a clever illusion that fooled the world? Why does the mysterious figure in the footage still divide experts, even after decades of careful study and analysis? Let's find out. The unanswered mystery. Over the years, many experts from different fields have carefully studied the Patterson-Gimlin film. These experts include people who understand costume design, animal behavior, and filmmaking. Each group brought its own knowledge and experience to the table, hoping to better understand what the film truly shows. The footage has been improved using modern tools, cleaned to remove noise, and examined very closely, frame by frame. Every small detail, from the way the figure walks to how its muscles appear to move, has been looked at again and again. Despite all this careful work and many years of study, there is still no clear agreement about what the film really means. Some people strongly believe the film is real. They argue that it shows clear evidence of a large, unknown primate living deep in the forests of North America. According to them, the figure in the film moves in a way that looks very natural. Its body shape, posture, and actions seem too realistic to be fake. They point out details such as the way the arms swing, the stride of the walk, and the slight turning of the head. To them, these features suggest something alive and not just a person pretending. They believe it would have been very difficult for anyone to create such lifelike movement, especially at the time the film was made. On the other side, skeptics are just as confident that the film is not real. They believe it is simply a person wearing a costume designed to look like a large creature. In their view, the film is one of the smartest tricks ever created. They argue that with the right materials and enough planning, a person could make a convincing suit and act in a way that looks unusual enough to fool others. Some skeptics say that the quality of the film is not clear enough to prove anything for certain, which makes it easier for people to believe what they want to believe. To them, the lack of clear proof is a strong reason to doubt the film. Both sides have held on to their beliefs for a very long time. Neither group has been able to fully prove the other wrong. This has kept the debate going for many years, with people continuing to study the film and share their opinions. At different times, new experts have joined the discussion, each bringing fresh ideas and new methods of analysis. But what revelation has come out so far? Did it confirm what we thought? Let's take a closer look. The 2002 revelation. In 2002, Greg Long, a researcher, became widely known after he released a book that explored the strange mystery behind a very famous movie. In his work, he tried to dig deep into what really happened behind the scenes. Instead of believing the film was a random real-life moment captured by chance, he suggested something very different. He argued that the entire event may have been carefully planned and organized from the start, almost like a staged performance rather than a natural encounter. This idea quickly caught people's attention. It brought back strong debates about whether the movie was real or fake. Many people who had stopped talking about it suddenly became interested again, and the question of its truth became hot once more. A key figure in this story was Bob Hieronymus. He said that he was the person inside the creature costume seen in the film. According to his claim, Roger Patterson had contacted him and asked him to take part in a planned act. Hieronymus said he agreed, and he was told to wear a special suit and walk through an open area while Patterson filmed everything. This, according to him, was how the famous footage was created. Hieronymus also gave details about how the costume was made. He said it was created by a costume maker named Philip Morris. The suit, according to his explanation, was not anything advanced or mysterious. Instead, it was built using simple materials like foam and fake fur. After the filming was finished, he claimed he was paid for his role and then told to keep everything secret. For many people who already doubted the movie, this sounded like strong proof that the whole thing had been a setup. At first, it seemed like the mystery had finally been solved. A person had stepped forward and openly said he was involved. For a lot of observers, this looked like the final answer they had been waiting for after years of debate and confusion. However, as time passed, problems began to appear in this version of events. Hieronymus' story was not always the same. In different interviews and conversations, he sometimes gave different details. At one moment, he would explain things in one way, and later he would change parts of his account. These changes made people begin to question how reliable his story really was. There were also issues with Philip Morris's statements. He, too, gave different versions of how the costume was made. In some cases, he described one method of building the suit, while in other situations, he gave a completely different explanation. Because of these contradictions, many people found it difficult to fully trust what he was saying. Another major problem was that the actual costume was never found. Neither Hieronymus nor Morris could produce the suit they claimed had been used in the filming. They both said it was no longer available, but there was no physical evidence left behind to confirm that it had ever existed. Without the costume, it became very difficult for investigators to test their claims or examine what it might have really looked like. Because of this uncertainty, researchers and experts later tried to recreate the film using the descriptions provided by Hieronymus and Morris. Skilled costume designers and specialists worked carefully to build suits based on the available information. They attempted to copy what had been described, hoping to reproduce something similar to what was seen in the original footage. However, the results did not match expectations. The recreated versions looked fake and unnatural. The movements were stiff and awkward, not smooth and realistic. The body shape did not appear quite right, and the hair did not move in the same soft and natural way seen in the original film. Even professionals in the field admitted that they were surprised and confused by how realistic the original footage looked compared to the weak results of their recreations. As more time passed, another important voice remained in the discussion. Bob Gimlin, one of the people who was present during the original recording, continued to support the story he had always told. For many years, he never changed his account. He insisted that what he saw during the filming was real and not something staged or faked. So, what conclusion did the AI finally reach in the end? Were the features those of any known animal or those of humans? Let's find out. Grok AI shocking analysis. In the beginning of 2026, Grok AI was given access to the film in its clearest and highest quality form available at that time. This allowed every detail, movement, and scene to be seen more clearly than in earlier versions. The first step for Grok AI was to examine every frame of the film one by one. Even though the video was very short, lasting less than 1 minute, it still contained many small details that could be analyzed carefully. The system tracked how the figure moved, including how its arms swung and how its legs stepped forward. It studied how the whole body worked together during movement. It also looked at body shape, including the size of the arms, legs, and torso. These details were compared with known human and animal body structures to see what it most closely matched. Balance was another important part of the study. The AI observed how the figure stood and walked across uneven ground. The area in the film included sand, small slopes, and rough surfaces. Even with this difficult terrain, the figure moved in a steady and controlled way. The system studied how body weight seemed to shift with each step and how balance was maintained during movement. Joint movement was also carefully reviewed. Grok AI tracked how the shoulders, elbows, hips, and knees moved. It checked how far each joint could move and how well they worked together. These movements were compared with normal human motion to look for differences. The way the feet touched the ground was also studied. The system looked at step length, foot placement, and walking rhythm. It checked whether the walking style made sense for the type of ground shown in the film. Every movement detail was reviewed closely. The Grok AI also focused on the surface details of the figure's body, especially the hair. It studied how light interacted with the hair and how the hair moved during walking. Real hair usually moves in a natural way, depending on motion and light, while artificial materials often look stiff or unnatural. The system looked for these differences. The face was also examined in detail, especially during a moment when the figure turned slightly. The system studied the shape, texture, and structure of the face. It looked carefully for anything that might suggest a mask or a hidden seam, or anything that could show it was a costume. This part of the analysis took a long time. After studying all parts of the film, the system built a complete picture of the figure based on all movements and features, not just one moment. When the analysis was finished, the results surprised many observers. The system found no clear signs that the film had been edited or altered. It appeared to be an unmodified recording from the time it was made. So, what do you think about the Grok AI investigation into the Bigfoot film? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.